Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Art of Braids podcast. I am your host, Karen Tenard, and I am so excited about today's guest. We're talking about a topic I hear about all the time, finding your sweet spot. And today's guest is Johanne Brierre, founder of the amazing brand NYBeauty Suites. And since today's topic is about finding your sweet spot, who better to talk about it? So I remember working from home, also traveling to my clients all over the place. Like I would go to Jersey a lot, the Bronx, Queens. I've also been to Texas and Chicago and Miami. And I never really had a place that I literally would do my work and call home. And then there was a time I was just like, okay, I'm just going to work on some pieces at home. And then Johanne reached out to me and was like, hey, can you bring your stuff to one of my spaces that I have? And then the pandemic hit. Then all of a sudden it was just kind of like, you have a second location. And I'm like, okay. So when I went there, I was able to kind of like sit down and take in coming from working from home and then coming into a space and then kind of like curating it to resemble what I wanted as a work for business, for art, for community. And I was also able to kind of like get out of my hermit mode and being isolated, and also kind of like tapping into a community of people. So that was my whole thing. So I won't make you wait any longer. Let's welcome Johanne. So Johanne, thank you for joining us today. Your time and brand are very important to us. I'm excited to have you here. Before we get started, I know you, but I would like you to give the listeners a little story about you because we all have a story.
Yeah.
So share your background and what it is you do in your business.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited. It's just an amazing audience here. Okay. Thank you for having me, Karen. My name is Johanne Brierre. I'm the founder of NYBeauty Suite, which is a share space community that we offer for beauty and wellness professional in New York. 2 years ago, during the pandemic, the whole idea, the whole business that I'm in is really something that it was a call that I just answered. What does that mean? It was just like my niece was in the beauty industry. She's a hairstylist, and during the pandemic, she worked in Jersey. Jersey have a different laws for beautypreneur. They work in commission, and a lot of things had shut down. So she came to me. She was telling me, hey, everything shut down and no one really thinking about the beautypreneur, stylist, and then we consider non-essential, but that's how we survive. That's how her boss survived. A lot of the people that she know was really, really struggling. So at that time, it was just like, just is an idea. I was like, okay, well, there was like a few spaces left, available at 495 Flatbush Avenue to lease, right? Mm-hmm. So again, think about it, guys. This is the middle of the pandemic. We had curfew. Everything was empty just to put the story out. So this is me was like, okay, well, this is history. If I want to go down, I want to go down with some kind of impact. Because to me, and the whole world thinking it was the end of the world, right? Every business had shut down. And it was a way to really kind of figure out how to help that particular industry in that group. That's how NYBeauty Suite started. 2 years ago, right in the middle of pandemic, no idea. I don't have, my background is not in the beauty industry. My background is in the hospitality industry, and I'm really good in marketing and business development. So that's really in my background.
Right. Well, congratulations and thank you for NYBeauty Suite. It definitely was like a whole journey, like from start to finish. And for the second one, because I wasn't a part of the first pilot.
Yes.
But the second one in 2021, and now it's like, okay.
So fast.
Yeah, look, the time is going by, and I'm like, wait, I'm not ready. Okay, so thank you so much for sharing your story, and I want to get into the topic at hand, which is finding your sweet spot. What is the importance of knowing your business's sweet spot?
I think it's a combination of things, and it's going to take time. It's going to take time just like everything else. It's just like finding out, the interest, your favorite topic, your favorite food, your final destination. It's a combination of your interests, a combination of your experience, and also something that you're trying to solve. So it's kind of like, okay. So for example, for me, I love everything community. I love everything business. And of course the other spot is I want to be in Brooklyn.
Right.
so so when you mix all of that stuff, it's like, okay, I want to be in Brooklyn. So what does that mean? I started and launched my business in Brooklyn. What does that mean? Community building is big to me. So the business model have to have some kind of community component. That's huge to me. And then what is my interest? My interest is always big and always has been like women entrepreneur, because, starting out in a very early age, working really young, and I started knowing like how business work and how a lot of us struggle. We struggle because for so many reasons, right? Whatever that reason is. So it's literally a combination. And then when you find that spot, when you mix all three combination, you got the spot. That's the
sweet spot.
You got the sweet spot.
No, it's true. It's true. Like I had to like find that. Like it was just like who is Karen or who is Kai Detresse? Like that I think I ended up figuring out Kai Detresse while I was here. Like I just was there, like, it's the art of braids. Yeah, you kind of just going with it, and I felt like I was thrown into the fire. Like I was like, okay, we're here, and people kept on asking questions, like, so what is? And when people ask the questions, then it's like it kind of challenges you to answer it. When you're at home, you're not really getting those questions
because we're in our head.
Yeah, we're in our head, but we don't have like outside people to see what you're doing, and then like, hey, are you doing this or are you doing that, or this would be great here. So finding a sweet spot, I think, helps being in a community or being in a suite or just out of the home.
That's
right?
The spot. You mix all these three interests, and you be like, at the end, it's your passion, your interest, and your experience, and whatever solution that you're trying to solve, and it's like a combination of ingredients, and it's like, oh my God, that's the food, or that's the place, that's the thing that I want to follow. If you have a mixture of that, it's gonna hopefully leading you. Actually, not hopefully, it will lead you to that finding your sweet spot. Yeah,
it's a journey. Yeah. All right, so why is it beneficial, would you say, from our conversation just now, it is to be in a suite from your perspective?
From exactly what you said, and a lot more. For example, when you're home, you're isolated. When you're in a suite, you have suite mate, you have other people that's going through the same struggle and challenges as you. You could share knowledge and interests, and there's a lot of collaboration. And a lot of the times, because a lot of women, we're in our heads, a lot of introverts in our head, you're in a space that now you see your suite mates making it. And it's very empowering. Oh my God, you're doing it. How are you doing it? And especially as the space is really well curated with the right network and the right energy, we are unstoppable. And that's the formula a lot of us trying to figure it out. Because running a community space with different people, personality, age group, interest is the hardest. Anybody that could do that, hats off, because it's the hardest, because everybody have different interests. Everybody like different things. But, in the beauty industry, you have the nails, you have the hair, the braider, the makeup, the wax. It's so much more. But when you're in a space, community for me is currency. Community is the future. Why would I not want to be around people who's thinking and want to go the same places or further than I am? That's encouragement, right? Not only encouragement, you get to see it, you get to experience it. And also the most important thing is feedback. A lot of companies pay thousands of dollars to have like special group to do. So you could get everything's done here in the community. You launch your products, think about it. Hey, Joanne, I'm running this campaign. What do you think? You could literally run to 50, 30 people to get their feedback. You could launch with these 30 people. Perfect example. And you was part of it. Thank you so much. And our launch, what I did, I launched it with 25 amazing beauty and wellnesspreneurs. From the feedback that we got, that we received, from the feedback of launching the space, because when you're launching stuff, there's always something that's go wrong. You get the feedback, you get to test the market to see if there's an interest. It's so many benefits. So I would definitely advise a lot of you guys, if you're trying to do a business, run a business, it's always good to either create a community or be part of a space. It's kind of like school, right? A lot of people go to an Ivy League school. Why they pay so much money? It's the network.
It's the network, the club.
It's the network. So that's why it's important to be in a suite.
In a nutshell, That is okay. So for those who are listening, I really suggest like getting out the home, and I think suites also elevate the brand, right? So it's like
Your clients, so you have a operating cost. Now you have an overhead. Your price gonna change. It's just so many benefit within that.
right. Okay. So now, what are the steps of finding space at NYBeauty Suites?
So steps are, first, if you're interested, you could either email us or reach out to us on our website. Mm-hmm. And then from you reaching out to our website, the thing that we do, we ask you for exactly what service you provide. And I like when people come to the space because I get to hear and get feedback. Feedback is so important. Mm-hmm. Why are you looking for a space? So that gives me a lot of data information. So I always ask them, are you coming from home, a suite, or are you coming from a salon, right? You know, you know the script. So from that information, then I could navigate some of their needs because they're all different, right? So from there, and then you got to come to a tour, and then, you know, you kind of express your interest, what you're looking for, and then we send you an application. The application have questions to answer about your interests, about what are you looking to benefit from here, why are you looking to be here, because our space is very different than other spaces. A lot of spaces are mainly real estate focused. You know, you come, you pay, you out. So for me, I was very intentional about building this. It's not a space, and then that's another thing, guys. When finding and looking for a space, you have to find a space that fit what you're looking for when you're looking to go. Right. So for us, our focus is really in education and growth. What does that mean? There is like the beauty industry is $1 billion industry, but a lot of us mostly in the consumer side. But when you're looking at NYBeauty Suite, we have like 30 to 50 amazing talent. That's a lot of value. So you have all these talents here, and you get to figure out like, oh my God, the value of it. What else can we do? What else can we do? What else we could produce? What else can we own together? There's a lot of that going on here. So that's pretty much the whole attention. I'm really looking forward to see the next Shea Moisture, Madam C.J. Walker, Carol Daughter. That's the value. It's just like everything else. It's just like school, a club, or an organization. It's like, oh my God, like the accelerator, incubator. You have company that come from these, and you're like, that's Karen. She come from here.
Right. You're like, okay, with the journey, it's like, and this is definitely a place where people, how I felt like people come in, they learn, and it's kind of like the pilot, especially with your first one. Way. Yeah, it's your favorite girl is the pilot. So like, and I've been able to kind of implement those things. Like, okay, let me test the market with what it is.
Because I'm people trying to put out there. All the time it could be really wrong. Oh, you launched this product, but when you say a pilot, they understand there's a lot of mistakes. You're testing it.
Yeah, I'm like testing it. Does it work? I don't know. But it's like, if it's something on your heart, a passion, it's not about like the one way. Like you just have to keep hitting it from different angles to make sure that you hit the sweet spot.
Yes.
So now we know how what it is to.
What's the process?
Yeah, what's the process of finding finding space at NYBeauty Suites. I wanted to know, do you have any favorite tools, resources that you use to help an entrepreneur, that helped you during your entrepreneur journey?
So right now, here I am. I'm in my head. When you're a visionary, an entrepreneur, and we in our head a lot. Mm-hmm. What does that mean? I'm in my head. That doesn't mean how I work. That's how my team work. So one of the things about scaling, you have to create system. System is the most important thing, guys. After you build something, you know there's a market, you have to create system, because at the end of the day, it's not only going to be Karen and Joanne, it's going to be Karen and 5, 10, 20 people. You got to follow a system that ending the result of the same, that end up giving you the same result. So it's really all about that. I lost my train of thought.
The resources.
So resources included is so... Here's how you guys could look at it in a different way. You come into a space, especially the way NYBeauty Suite is positioned, right? We have 3 locations, and 2 of our locations, we have Booking Common, which have like solo entrepreneur, freelancer, ranging from freelancer all the way to unicorn. These are from accounting, marketing, lawyers, everybody that I work with in the space. It's like an ecosystem. So in other words, these resources are important because at the end of the day, it's just not opening a suite. It's not opening a business. There's so much step that you need to really make it. What are the steps? What are you, the LLC, the support, the grants, and even understand how these things work. A lot of us, we just don't know how we work. How are we going to know? We're the first generation that's building. No one told us. No one just like, hey, Karen, well, you in this phase, there's a phase to everything. Well, you need to do that. We all, in our generation, when I'm looking at, they're all first generation. They're all building. So I'm very sensitive and aware of that. So I make sure that I bring resources that we could tap into, that they could tap into, and partner they could tap into. Partners including like we partner with a lot of organizations to help with NYBeauty, how to get certified. Well, a lot of them say, well, I didn't ever heard about that.
Really?
No. Because remember, the beauty industry may be very different. A lot of people, if they're not exposed to it, how are they going to know?
This is true. Like if they're not trying, because I feel like with the beauty industry, like braiders, right? Like
you come in, you work 8, 10, 12 hours and you out.
You're only like putting it into you. Like the money you get in, it's just like as soon as it comes in, it's paying something. Like it's like almost as if you're working paycheck to paycheck as a braider. Like it's like that's all I'm doing. I'm not trying to build this. And as a braider, you're not thinking about scaling because you're thinking about you're the one doing it. Like I'm the service instead of thinking about what does that look like if I have a community, if I have partnerships or building out, I can have people, under me, like you were saying, like
apprenticeship, mentorship, training the next generation to really like, oh, okay, because they've never been thought. We never seen it. How you gonna know? Because it was, you're a braider, you do hair, and then plus a lot of people, not until now, a lot of us are fighting for it. They didn't consider it as a profession.
No, they didn't. but they got their hair done. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, so who are you thinking going? Who's doing your hair? Like somebody has to be there and wake up and do your hair. So it's like changing that mindset.
They're not thinking about that. I saw that. We saw that during the pandemic.
Until it was like non-essential, then everybody went crazy, right? It's like I need my hairstylist. Okay, now you understand the essential part of it, or the need to have a career in it, or just be looked at as like more responsible. And as you're building your brand, like these are places to elevate your brand, right? Like the suites. That's like one level. If you can't afford, a salon or a storefront and stuff like that, like being in a suite kind of has like the amenities, right? Community or podcast. I'm literally in the podcast studio at NYBeauty Suites, right? So I'm here. So that's one of the perks of being in the community. You have access to that. And then there's also the photo studio. So it's like a
photo podcast studio. These are essential amenities for from what we're trying to do and from where the members in the business, the market is asking, So what is that? Okay, so if you looking at Karen, okay, well, you have to start thinking about 10 years from now, what is your brand? It's not going to be you behind the chair.
Right.
But what are some of the amenities that are essential? It's going to be very different from a co-working space because your amenities is like you guys are huge into content because what I call the new wave, everything is like booking to social media. Social media is a big part of your business. So therefore, you have a podcast studio from audio to visual to photography, product shot. These are essential amenities that you guys need versus like, I don't know, whatever other amenities that, other people might have. That's so much. It's important. So I make sure everything is thought out. And also, I have amazing people around me. So a lot of the things that I built and a lot of things that I'm continuing to build, I'm building with partnerships. So even you're looking at the podcast video,
podcast
it's with another entrepreneur.
Yes, Ray.
Who pitched that to me. It's like, wow. Why don't you? And then that's the thing I love about partnership. So when people is looking at, that's a whole different thing. But when people talk about partnership, they think about all this. But it's really, for me, I have access to space. Space, you need body, you need energy, you need creativity. Right? So what does that mean? So when he pitched that to me, I was like, that makes sense. I didn't know anything about podcasts. He was like, Joanne, the podcast, I'm going to do all the stuff. You manage this, but I manage that. But that makes sense.
Right.
So partnership is something big to me. Such as like I did with the photography space, such as like I built with you okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Just like I did with everything here, it's to partnership and collaboration. A lot of the business that I'm building is a lot of partnership that I'm working on. It's just like you have this, you have that. How can we work together? And I think that's the best thing, especially if you're creative. You want to pitch or work with a business person. Vice versa, you guys kind of like need each other. The creative and the business. The business could provide the finance, the support, and then you do what you got to do with the creative side and the market you have trying to reach. So even this podcast room, it was like Ray, who's like in my head. He kind of did the whole thing because for me, that's not my background.
know what you're good at.
Exactly.
And partner with people who are doing what you want.
Especially with what I said, experience, your interests. To me, podcast studio, I don't know how to build that. That's Ray, who's in radio media.
And that's what he knows.
Yeah.
And as a growing business, like having access to a podcast, a lot of people don't realize that's a way to kind of like not only build awareness about your brand, but also a form of income stream later on. So these are things. Why I keep mentioning it is because as we're building braiders and upcoming braiders and teaching them the business behind the braids, this is something that they could go into with a suite, right? So
with the support and the right amenities.
Yeah. Okay. So really great tools. I'll be sure to make sure this is linked in the notes.
Yeah. Some of the tools you mentioned. Some of the tools. Some of the business tools or technology that I'm currently using. I love Basecamp. That's like a team management system. I use Airtable, MailChimp for email marketing, and HubSpot for my CRM. These are the tools that I use. So CRM is HubSpot, Airtable, Basecamp, MailChimp. What else I'm using? And of course, all the social media channel. Slack. So these are the tools that we are using to manage team, projects, and also building system.
Right. And then the consumer base.
Yeah. And then, of course, you have the payment platform, the Stripe, and all that kind of stuff. Things are forever changing. So
yeah, it's always something. All right. So before we wrap up, I just have a few questions that I ask the guests, right, to keep everything on a positive high note, right? So I have 3 questions for you.
Oh, really?
Yes. It's not bad questions.
Okay.
What is your favorite go-to braid style and why? Is there a book that you recommend that would be great for a starting entrepreneur? And are there any new projects, products, or events you would like to give us the tea on?
Okay. What was the first question? Books, you said?
Go-to braid style.
Oh, I like box braid.
Oh, you like box braids now?
It's you could do so much with it. It's multi-verse in regards like how you could do your hair, the style. It's easy. And I like that you have the option to choose the sizes that you want, the type, the painless type, which you did recently for me, which I love because, it was my first time. I like box braid. It's just very versatile.
Okay. The next one is there a book?
Your favorite, I don't know if it's because a lot of us getting to the business, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad was the first book that I read. Stay with me. But I'm really big into podcasts. I love audio. I love podcasts. I love to listen to new upcoming entrepreneur who's sharing their journey because things are forever changing. You have to keep up with the newness and also the latest. So, yes. All
right. So you gave a book and then you said podcast.
Yeah.
So Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad. What's the third question is
there any new products, projects, events that you would like to give us the tea on? So
one of the things I've learned the last 2 years or 7 years that I've been doing this, it's like not to announce things prematurely, but I give you some clue. I'm teaming up with Kalela again to do the women lunching, which is March 25th. We have that coming up. We are teaming up with you to do the share braiding suite, which is going to be...
I was waiting for that.
He was waiting for that, which is pretty exciting because we have so many interests in braids, right? To have you with that type of talents, background, and interest, a mixture of so much things. And I think to really help the next generation to really not understand braiding, but to understand business, partnership, and mentorship is very important. So And then those that really want to get into business, because at the end of the day, like you said, yeah, you just braiding. You're just looking at, but it is a business. It's a business, and they can make a lot of money from the product, from the hair, from the customer. So it's really like changing the mindset. You're not just braiding.
No, it's an art. It's the art of braids.
It's art of braids.
Okay, so yeah, so definitely we have a whole collaboration with the Shared Braid Suite.
Yes.
So, and then I also have the classes. So that would also be here at NYBeauty Suites. Yeah, it's like a whole bunch of things that we're trying to not only offer to all the beauty entrepreneurs, or NYBeauty Suites is not only offering things to the beauty entrepreneurs as far as estheticians,
but it's the next generation, which is a part of our mission. You
Right.
know, is to empower the next generation. What does that look like? Well, for all of us that here, we all agreed that we didn't get the support, we didn't get the mentorship, we didn't get the finance, we didn't have the capital, we didn't have the marketing. So now we're looking at it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We didn't get it. What can we do now to help the next generation to get that? It's really us. You're
Right.
doing the mentorship, you doing the training, doing the classes, the education that we all doing. That's part of it. If we all could agree, if we had that support, we'd been further. Am I agree?
No, yeah. Like, I would like, you know, sky's the limit when you have like that.
It's much easier.
Support.
Imagine you come into a share suite, you know, I want to learn how to braid, or they already know how to braid, right? So it's kind of like, well, what am I going to get here? Okay, I'm working with Karen, who's already in the industry and who have two parts. You have the braiding skills, you have the art skill. Well, how do I make it? So another braider, that's another way to separate yourself.
Right.
You
Yeah.
could,
Like find your niche, and it's also
Yes.
like and then it's also referrals, because
Yeah.
I am also retiring, right, from doing people here. So it's like
Did
all
you?
of my, yeah, I came out a little bit, but the whole point is I'm only one person, and I can't painlessly braid everybody. Like I want the world to be painless, period. You know, like I think there was a slogan I was literally braiding a client here, and I was there like, you know, beauty is not pain. Beauty is painless. And she was just like, that's a campaign. And I'm like, yes.
It is a campaign.
You know, so it's that.
It is actually a campaign. I love it.
Yes, beauty is painless.
Ooh, I love it.
You heard it. You heard it here.
Yeah, we heard it.
So Joanne, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show and sharing sharing how to find your sweet spot. So thank you for preparing for the show. Before we wrap up, can you tell the people how they can find you, contact you, and how they can continue to support?
Well, sure. So for us, you could find us in all platform NYBeauty Suite. We located at 81 Willoughby and Flatbush Avenue, 495 Flatbush Avenue. Support to me looks very different, right? So for me, if I have a group of amazing talent here, support would be like, buy their products, support their services, share their information with your clients, with your network. It costs zero. You know, the same way a lot of people are sharing other people that don't have no idea about. So for me, the support that I'm looking for is really support the beautypreneur here, because they are dope. They are extreme. Like, to me, it's just something when I thought about it, oh my God, I can't believe I have a bunch of dope women here, you know? So that's the support their business, make sure that, you know, they get where they need to go. And some of the stuff you guys are producing, and it's really like to put their story out. And I really thank you for sharing, you know, for inviting me to your show. So it's really the support. It's really like support the members that are here.
Well, thank you so much for showing up on the show and, you know, sharing your time. So so everybody, thank you so much for listening. I'm your host, Karen Tenord, and you have just heard from Johanne Brierre. Have a great one.
Thank you. I love this.
Listen, such an amazing interview. To get more info, go to kaidetres.com/podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you got a lot from today. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and show back up. Okay, see you in a bit.